Technology, institutional change, demographics, the environment, and finally we get to social values. What I mean by values is your expectations of what is normal, your view of what is a normal world. In a sense, this is not a fifth trend. This is just a summary of what I've said in the last 55 minutes. Because if all the other things we've talked about are even half true, it must be obvious to you that how we view the world and what normal is for us, well, that must have changed as well. And like I said right at the beginning, the problem that we face right now, the challenge, the opportunity that we face right now, is that there is no new normal emerging. I mean, what is a normal career? You work for Tiger Brands for 25 years or you work for them for 3 years. Which is normal? We can't use those words anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. What does a normal family look like? Any of those families look normal to you? Statistically, the one in the top right-hand corner is the most normal. More than half of all marriages end in divorce, and there are blended families, many represented in this room. I was stopped a few months ago. I was speaking at a school, and we got to this point in the presentation, and a 16 or 17-year-old boy put up his hand. He said, Graeme, please, I have to ask you a question. I said, okay. He said, well, is it okay for me to date my father's ex-wife's new husband's stepdaughter? I said, I don't even know what you're asking me. What is this? He said, no. Technically, she's my sister, but she's hot. The point is, the old rules said you're not allowed to marry your sister. Why? It's for genetics. We don't want inbreeding. But these two kids, although brother and sister, were as genetically far apart as any two individuals are possible to be. Maybe the old rules, all the old rules, are wrong. What does a normal woman look like? I think one of the big revolutions about to take place is not the revolution of getting more women into the workplace. Well done, ladies, you've actually done a good job. South Africa's pretty good at this globally. But around the world, women now are half of the workforce. I know it's not a big victory because you don't earn as much money and you don't get into the leadership positions. So there's a lot of work to do there. But I think that's not the revolution. The revolution is not about getting more women into leadership, just like it's not about getting more black people into leadership. You see, because if all you're doing is ticking off the numbers, the danger is this, and I want to be quite respectful, and hopefully you'll understand my point. Remember, I have 3 daughters, a wife, and the dog we have at home only used to be a man. I'm the only guy in my house, so I want to try and get this. But here's my point. Many women who have made it to the top of their industries have done so by acting like men. There's no disrespect to them. They understand that it's still a man's world played with man's rules, men's games. And they can compete, and they have, and well done to them. But that's not helpful for a company. It's not helpful to have a whole lot of black people on your board who think and act like white middle-class, middle-aged men. I'm not saying that's what's happening in your company. I'm just saying there's a danger if we're just ticking boxes. What we need and what South Africa truly can offer is real diversity. Not zoo diversity, where we've got all the animals nicely, neatly locked up in their cages and they're all separate from each other. We need wild diversity like we have in the game park just behind us here. Sometimes wild animals eat each other. Have you heard about that? It's not nice and sanitized and neat. And sometimes you do have to have differences of opinion, because that's what builds resilience in a company. That's what is the basis of true innovation, when we really see the world very differently and then listen to each other. That's what I think is going to happen in the new normal. That's social values at work. And what does a normal day look like? We can bring it down right to this level. work-life balance and all of those good things. These are conversations we've had before. New normals around teams, that we don't need all the people in the room. We can have virtual teams. You can go onto websites, I don't know if you know websites like Elance, where you can go on and just hire people at a digital distance. I do this all the time. So for example, if we had recorded this presentation and I wanted to give you a transcript of it, typed out, I could just take the recording, go to Elance, say I have a 1 hour and a few minute presentation that needs converting into Word document, and who will do it for me? And I need it done, by Friday morning. And on past record, it would cost me about 200 Rand and would be done by tomorrow night. Now, you can get people to do your PowerPoint presentations for you, to work out mistakes in Excel spreadsheets, to analyze your numbers, to do all sorts of things for you. We have to think differently about this world. But just in case you think that I'm only here to talk about technology and to say technology will solve everything, it is still a high-touch world, even though it is a high-tech world at the same time. In our social values, we don't want this to happen.
Hi, I just want to make a deposit.
You have your account number?
Right here.
Lean forward, please.
What is this?
It's our new customer tracking system. It has your account number and barcode. It speeds you right through the line.
Now what?
That line over there.
Feel like banks are getting a bit impersonal?
What's a holdup?
I hate it when these things don't scan.
So what changes in social values? What changes in social values have the potential to disrupt your business, to change your customers, to change your staff, to change you? And how will you respond? So there we have them, the tides of change. An overview. I hope that you take them to your teams. Allocate one of these trends to each of your top team members, and then get together once a quarter and talk them through. Have a conversation. Watch the horizon. Each one of these trends is big enough to change your business substantially, and all 5 of them are intersecting at the same time as we speak. These are fascinating and exciting and scary times to be a leader as we navigate this change. But the good news is that it's not just the things we don't know about that are going to upset us. In fact, I don't think it's those things at all. If you keep an eye on these 5 trends, you'll be able to see what's coming. And by the way, it's not just because you need lunch that you have to read that 3 times. It's Mark Twain. You just have to read it 3 times. It's not the things we don't know about that are going to get us into trouble. We can watch the tides of change and watch them coming and respond to them. It's yesterday's logic that is your biggest danger now. It's the things you think you know for sure about what will make you successful as a company that are likely to trip you up right now. Set your sails for change, because the barometer is telling us that now is the time. It is the 0 point, the moment of decision for the future, and it's up to you to make those choices.